Today we're going to continue our discussion of transformations, and in particular we'll be talking about reflections. Reflection is using a line like a mirror to flip the pre-image. The line is called the line of reflection or the line of symmetry. And what we're going to attempt to do is actually reflect these images across this mirror image, or this mirror line. Right here is your line of reflection. And then here is the image, the straight line that we're going to try to reflect across. And this isn't going to be absolutely perfect, but you get the idea that we're going to create this kind of a mirror image of where that's located here. Okay, I probably should have made it a little bit longer, but you get the idea. Here we have this other straight line that we're going to reflect across this mirror line. And it'll look something like that. That's a little bit better. And this one, if we want to reflect this one, it's going to have to actually go a little bit across both lines, if you can imagine that. And I'm actually going to use a little bit different pen to try to make this a little bit longer and put our points here on the end. But you get the idea that we're trying to reflect the same image. It should be like looking in a mirror. Now, a line of symmetry is a line where the figure can be folded and have the two halves line up. Okay, so if we take a look at this, now in some figures there are many lines of symmetry, but let's just draw a few here. We can see that there would be one that would go right down the center here, if you can imagine folding that in half. There's also one that would go right across the middle, if you can imagine folding that in half. We have one that would go through the center of this next figure. If you folded the two pieces in half, they would line up. One that would go right through the center going the other way. So it would go both horizontally and vertically. This one, we would probably have to go from a vertex, it looks like, and I'm just going to try to line this up in order to fold it in half. And notice there would probably be more than one. There would be one going from each vertex here. So any of those lines would work where you could fold that figure in half. Let's go on to the next page. Now here we're given this figure, and we could have a line of symmetry going right down the middle of it, and one going across the middle. And let's see, do you think we could have it going through our vertices? Well, let's just try one and see. Let's see if it works, first of all. Now, if we drew this, if you folded it, could you fold it in half and have the pieces line up? And it kind of looks like you could. So we could have lines of symmetry going through all of the vertices, kind of like diagonals. And I think I've got all of them drawn in. Now, another type of reflection that we're going to talk about is a glide reflection. Now, a glide reflection, this is the combination of a translation and a reflection over a line which is parallel to the translation. So when I say parallel to the translation, now I'm going to say that this figure right here is my pre-image. This is the one that I start with. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is translate this figure. And I'm going to translate it to the right. So I'm making a translation where I just slide it to the right. So here's my new figure at this point. But then what I'm going to do is reflect it across this horizontal line here. So I'm going to then reflect that up. I'm just going to show the reflection here. So here is my reflection. And this is my final figure. This is my image. This is the final figure from the glide reflection. I start with the pre-image, I translate it, and then I reflect it above a line that's parallel to the translation. See how this horizontal line is parallel to this translation that we just had. And that's what we call a glide reflection. So that is that's an illustration of a glide reflection. We're going to be talking more about this in class, and I thank you for joining me.